this right here will change a man. So you just got a brand new unit and you see that their awakening is different. They're able to be ascended instead of awoken. And what do you need to know about this? Well, I'm going to tell you all about it in today's video. What is Ascension, otherwise known as Super Awakening? Ascension is a system that only certain units are able to use, and these certain units are known as Ascended units. The first Ascended unit on Global is War Hero Finn. He is the only one at the current moment that can do this. Of course, if you play JP, there's a lot more units that can do it. But there's a reason why this has some exclusivity, because this thing gives you a lot. You will unlock a brand new attack known as a Super Art. Super Arts are extremely powerful, usually bolstering some type of crazy modifier. You also get the ability to take that unit to LB7, which allows them to get a 6-star equip slot and allows them to change their 4-star equip slot into a different equip slot entirely. This is predetermined, by the way. You can't just pick any equip slot in the game. Their levels go up. You can now take this character to level 120, which is the new maximum in the game. Before, it was level 90, but now 120. And then finally, they get another crest upon Ascension, meaning that the maximum crest you can have now on a said character is 3. This all sounds fine and dandy, you know, this sounds very powerful, it makes this unit extremely strong, but how do I go about doing it? So in order to ascend a character, you have to tackle a piece of content known as Summoner's Road. Summoner's Road is one of the greatest challenges you will have to do in your entire Grand Summoner's career. But why is Summoner's Road so difficult? It just seems like a regular event, right? Just with bosses, you just have to clear it. No, it's not. In Summoner's Road, there are unique mechanics to every single stage, especially the later stages, that you will have to know and will have to counter, which sounds pretty normal. However, they make this even harder by locking your teams. You can't just go through the entire Summoner's Road by using one set team and one set equip loadout on everybody. Since every time you clear a stage in Summoner's Road, your units and equips become locked, meaning that you can no longer use those units and equips, so you have to change to a different set of units and a different set of equips. So yeah, the challenge ramps up quite a bit, especially if you're a new player. This may seem almost impossible. But here's the good news. You actually don't need to full clear Summoner's Road in order to obtain your Super Awoken materials. The only reason why you would go all the way up to stage 5 is if you maybe want a chance of getting the most amount of Ascension materials and also have a shot of getting the new 6-star equip. But if you don't care about the 6-star equip and you only care about the Ascension materials, then the best strategy for this is to go as far as you can. So if you can only clear to stage 2, then only clear stage 2. If you can only clear stage 3, then only clear to stage 3. But if you can't go past stage 3, don't worry about it. Just reset where you currently are, and it will give you all your rewards, and hopefully by the time that you do this a few times, it may take a couple of days, you will have enough to ascend your Super Awoken character. Oh, and did I mention that all of these Summoner's Roads are different? They're based on element. So right now, we only have the Earth Summoner's Road in the game. But later on, we'll be getting more, like the light one, the dark one, fire, water, all of them. You guys get the point. Because of this, I'm not actually going to tell you like a guide kind of how to beat this. I'm going to have videos on each of the Summoner's Road separately, so I can really go in depth and kind of talk about each of them and their mechanics a lot more, plus like teams and units and all that good stuff. So hey, if you're interested in that, subscribe and stick around. But the main tip that I can give you is that if you want to know what units to use or how exactly to do it, the best thing is to go into the history and see what other people are using. See how other people are clearing each stage and see if you can maybe copy one of their teams. Even if it's not completely identical, just having maybe the units and some of the equips that player used may be enough to help you push through a certain stage. That's pretty much the gist of Summoner's Road, and that's the way how you're mainly going to be obtaining your Super Awoken materials. Now, one thing to mention is that depending on when you're starting the game, there may be a certain celebration or a certain login bonus or whatever happening where they will actually give you the Ascension materials by completing certain missions or doing whatever in the game. And if that's the case, make sure you do those, because that will be a lot easier for a newer player than trying to tackle Summoner's Road, because yeah, this is a very in-game activity. Now, if you went through the trials and tribulations of getting all the way to stage 5, or maybe you got lucky some other way by getting the materials, you should have enough now to fully ascend your character. You may have to go farm some giant bosses though, but you know, you can go do that. That's the easy part. The hard part was Summoner's Road. After all that, congrats, you got your first ascended unit. But the grind's not over, ladies and gentlemen. You may have noticed that I mentioned before that a unit can go up to level 120. What exactly does that mean? Well, their level cap increases, but with ascended units, they actually don't gain XP through chickens. So you have to grind this XP, which is probably the most boring part that you can do, but it's also kind of a passive part because naturally you will gain enough experience for these characters to hopefully unlock all their passives over time. But if you would like to rush this, the best way to go about getting XP is, for one, give them a unit XP crest. This, at level 4, will give you 20% more XP gains on that unit. Now, the best ways to actually gain XP for your character. Do you like crest farming? Do you crest farm a lot? Are you trying to get a 4+ on these newly ascended characters? Then just use them during your crest farms. Crest farming gives you quite a bit of experience, and this is kind of the best way for you to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, since you are farming for a crest slot and you're also getting XP towards your ascended character, so it's a win-win. You're really not losing out on anything apart from the stamina you're spending and what little faith you have in your RNG, because you can't get a 4+ to drop after 4,000 runs. This is the method that I recommend for majority of people, unless you just really want this character to have 120, or maybe you really are trying to get a passive. Then there is another method that is a little bit better, and that method is by doing Holy Land of Experience. But this has a catch to it because originally I was doing this wrong. The very first time I did Holy Land of Experience, I was actually using a full team of 4 and going through this over and over and clearing it. However, I didn't know that Grand Summoners has EXP share, meaning that all of your experience that you will get is divided between all your units 25% evenly. However, if you decide to only use 1 unit, in this case War God Finn, the XP per clear is going to be exponentially higher since all the experience is going towards War God Finn, which is the character we want to level in this case. Also take into consideration, we can further boost this XP gain by using stuff like the unit XP crest, as I mentioned before, and by even using certain food that gives us a little bit more of an XP gain. With all of this, if you do this consistently, you're gaining around 660,000 XP every single run, if I'm not mistaken, and you can just leave this on auto while you go do literally anything else with your life. But as mentioned before, this should not be the thing you turn to. If anything, you should really be turning to your crest farms, so that way you're using your stamina as efficiently as possible and you're not wasting any, because if you do this, you're just kind of wasting it. The only time I would recommend you actually going for this is if you're trying to unlock a passive, or you don't really feel like playing the game and you just want to waste all your stamina. Then yeah, do a full auto loop on this. This will burn through all your stamina and will also help you level that character. After that, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations, you have your very first built ascended character in the game. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you all for coming out. Tell me down below what you guys think about the new Ascension system. Are you guys liking it? Are you guys kind of not really feeling it? Or do you not have anybody to ascend yet? If that's the case, keep your head up, kings and queens. It'll happen soon. That's going to be it for this one, man. Thank you all again for coming out. And last but not least, don't forget to drink water.